Dublin 4 Papa, turn right heading 135.
Right, 135, shuttle Mother Papa.
Emirates 9 Whiskey Lima, speed 160 knots, maintain.
Well, very good evening to you and welcome to Jetstream TV. This is our first show, so initially I'd like to welcome you to the channel. Jetstream TV is a concept where I'm here to show off the beautifulness of what Asobo have managed to achieve with this flight simulator. Flight Simulator 2020 for the Xbox Series X. Currently on the runway, the threshold runway in Manchester. Just configuring the camera views right now for the flight ahead, and this will give us a lovely takeoff kind of a plane spotter view, or a tower view if you like, of the aircraft taking off from Manchester. This is the A320neo with the EasyJet livery. And you can see I'm going into the showcase camera mode. The menu at the top gives you all of the things that you need. So you click on the camera icon, then you go to the showcase camera. You ensure that the drone follow mode is switched off. The drone lock mode is on so that you are focused on the aircraft that you need. Various zoom in and out levels, and then there's a focus thing, so I'm about to click on that now. So autofocus would bring the aircraft into focus but kind of blur out the front, the foreground and the background, giving you some nice depth of field. It doesn't always work perfectly. The aircraft looks a little bit blurry now, but we're ready for the roll. We're heading out to Dublin today. Flight time's around about 30 minutes. So get rid of the camera view. Get them engines fired up and heading out to Dublin. Our track will be taking us out today across the Mersey River, just by Runcorn, and then to the south over the Wirral. Passing John Lennon Airport on the right hand side as we go via Liverpool. It looks like it's a bit blurred on the climb out here now, so the camera should, there we go, it's just readjusted itself, and we take to the skies around about 140 knots. There we go. Yeah. Into the lovely evening ahead. So yes, as I said, we'll be heading out over the River Mersey, just to the south of the Mersey, over the Wirral, and then we'll be tracking across the edge of the Wirral Peninsula and across to Lacca. Might even get a view of Presthaven Sands on the climb out, and then we'll be heading out over the bay towards kind of Llandudno area, and then across to Anglesey, the north-eastern side of Anglesey. On the climb out to 30,000 feet across the Irish Sea, and then down into Dublin in around about 30 minutes time. So let's initially get the altitude dealt with. It's changed to 10,000 feet now with a vertical speed of around about 2,000 feet per minute.
178, speed 160 knots, maintain to 40 means.
160 to 40 means speed 178.
So checking out one of the predefined wing views that I've saved off already, which is a really handy thing to do. You can get some beautiful views with this using the Xbox controller. I'll explain that a little bit better to you a bit later on in the flight, once we're up in the cruise, but a lot going on in the cockpit right now.
Twist 56 Mike, turn left heading 300 degrees, establish localizer 27 left.
Hey, the autopilot's going in.
300 degrees, establish localizer 27 left, 56 Mike.
Ah, the sun just catching one of the lakes in North Wales there on the climb out. We can just see off over to our left hand side.
Comes in altitude 5,000 feet, speed 491.
The real-time lighting on this sim is absolutely beautiful, just the way that the sun comes into the cabin and highlights the features and the walls, etc. 13 nautical miles inbound now. We're currently flying through 8,000 feet for 10,000 at the moment.
You had 491, turn left heading 360 degrees.
So we're just over Runcorn right now. You see down to the right hand side we've got the Runcorn Bridge and the Mersey estuary. We're just over the Wirral right now. You can see Liverpool's John Lennon Airport off to the right hand side. Got some cloud level with us as we approach our climb altitude to 10,000 feet. So some broken cloud, looking like it's the cloud tops are around about 13,000 feet right now, so we should be clearing the cloud level on the next phase of the climb out to flight level 030. What's very, very handy here, you can see the markers in the Xbox Series X. That next marker is showing us that we need to be at 29,700 feet, I think it is. As we make a subtle turn to the right hand side now as we head off for our next VOR. And you can see there 23,750 feet is where we should be at in approximately 21 nautical miles. So back to the altitude, and we're flicking through to 30,000 feet and increase the vertical speed ever so slightly to around about 3,000 feet per minute on the climb. And if we look down at the very important screens that we've got here on the flight deck, you can see that the altitude is rolling up nicely as we climb up to 30,000 feet.
Swiss 56 Mike, speed 160 knots, maintain to 40 knots.
Speed 160 knots, DC4, 656 Mike.
The detail on this sim, I mean, just look at the cockpit, it's just absolutely stunning, and the various times of day and night that you get, and the lighting, the way that it changes. We'll have a little play around with the weather in a little bit. I don't think it's quite dark enough, so we'll bring that sun down momentarily, just so that we've got a lovely approach into Dublin with the sunset, hopefully just going down over the horizon as we are ready and lined up for the arrival into Dublin. So you can see there we're just passing the edge of the Wirral Peninsula off to the right hand side. Passing 13,000 feet now on the climb out. Leaving the River Mersey behind in the distance. Flight models on this aircraft are simply incredible. The reflections off certain parts of the wing, simply beautiful in the way that the sun catches the fuselage. 5 nautical miles inbound to the next VOR. Let's have a play with the weather and just bring that sun down ever so slightly. We can do this in real time. So there we go, the sun drops and it should just start to get a really nice orange glow. There we go. Very nice indeed. So we've left the Wirral Peninsula behind. You can see Talaka at the moment on the north coast of Wales, and even Presthaven Sands down there to the left hand side. Very nice indeed. Hello all you holiday makers. So out to the wing view once again. Yeah, it's really, really handy thing. There's a tutorial which I could do, which somebody else very helpfully has done on YouTube, which enables you to define the cameras on the external part of the aircraft, holding the left hand button on the Xbox Series X controller, the top left shoulder button, and you use the joystick to fly around, both joysticks actually, and then you hit top left shoulder button and B to save your current view. So we'll talk about that a little bit more later on when we look at that view a bit more. 7 nautical miles inbound now, expecting 29,700 feet on arrival. Passing 18,000 right now with 12 to go. And the wind farms out there in the Irish Sea now, just the transition from the River Mersey into the estuary of the Irish Sea, and from many points in the northwest of England, from the northern coast of Liverpool all the way across the Wirral and even down into North Wales. You can see these wind farms out at sea. Absolutely miraculous how they actually get them there. I mean, wow, it's got to be a struggle. So there is the north coast of Wales now, where the A55 runs the entire length of the north coast of Wales, heading out, passing overland Dudno to our left hand side, and looking to intercept with the northeastern coast of Anglesey very shortly. So the level again has changed, 36,450 feet. I think we'll keep it to 30,000 for this flight, as it's only a half an hour flight, and we're going to struggle to get down through the altitude levels on the approach to Dublin. But just look at what Asobo have done here with these incredible environmental views. I mean, look at them clouds there, they're all fluffy, slight edge of orangeness to them, and even the way that the sun is distorted with the atmosphere is just simply unbelievable what they've managed to pull off with this simulator. Just look at the edges of the sun there, the way it's shimmering with the atmosphere. Obviously the dirty windows don't really help here in the cockpit. That is just simply breathtaking. Let's just bring that sun down a little lower. Oh, just a bit too red there, so we'll bring that ever so slightly back. We just want it nice and glowing orange, because that will be a lovely sunset on the approach to Dublin. Wow, and there's that shimmer of the sun that I mentioned previously.
Fueling 7104, descent to altitude 3,000 feet, then with the glide. 3,000 feet, then with the glide, well, is wonderful.
Simply gorgeous.
Portugal 364, turn left heading 355. Left heading 355, Portugal.
29 nautical miles now to the next VOR on our track today. Passing 25,000 for 30,000 feet now, 5 to go. And the contrails coming from the back of the aircraft now, as the air outside becomes extremely cold as we're climbing up through the levels. 27,000 feet with 3 to go to flight level 030.
Right, 250, 33,000. Bridge 26 Hotel, 20 miles, landing runway 27 left. Portugal 364, turn left heading 300 degrees, report localised established, runway 27 left.
Just having a little look around the cockpit with the Xbox controller right now.
Bridge 26 Hotel, turn left.
Just trying to get a nice angle on that sun as it starts to come down towards the horizon, just over the west coast of Ireland. And look at the sun just glittering on the sea there, absolutely beautiful. What a stunning view for an arrival this evening.
Portugal 364, when established on the localizer, descend with the glide path.
Clouds getting a lovely subtle pinkness to them now, just on the left hand side.
1185, Elijah, 124. Swiss 26 Hotel, descend to altitude 4,000 feet.
Need I say more?
30 degrees.
30 degrees, 285.
Swiss 26 Hotel, turn left heading 300 degrees, established runway 27 left.
Okay, we've just reached our cruise altitude of 30,000 feet with around about 14 nautical miles to go to run for the next VOR, which will be the top of the climb. Need to be thinking about coming down shortly. Back through the flight levels, we'll probably have the altitude set to around about 2,000 feet on the approach for Dublin.
364, roger. Shuttle 3 Victor, 23 miles and 27 left, fly heading 130 degrees.
So the VFR map coming up now, just so we can see where we are, and as you can see we're just leaving the north western coast of Anglesey now, with 3 VORs en route. So you'll see the middle one out of the 3 there. That's where we need to begin our descent from 30,000 to bring us back down nicely for a nice timed approach into Dublin. Please excuse this bit. Every time you do record a clip on the Xbox Series X, it takes you to this default screen. I thought I'd edited that out, but obviously I hadn't done, so it's not the end of the world. But we're 5 nautical miles into the next VOR now. We're still at 30,000 feet. 0.79 on the mark on the speed, which is around about right for what we need right now. 29,500 feet for the next VOR. 30,000 is no problem. And passing through, you'll see that next VOR 12 nautical miles away has just dropped down slightly, telling us that the top of the approach, we need to start descending very, very quickly. And here's the views outside the wing of this EasyJet A320neo. Again, just very quickly with the Xbox controller, you can fly around with the 2 joysticks. Top left hand button and the B button will save your current view wherever you're looking, and the top left hand button and the Y button will take you from the cockpit and back to your external wing view, or whichever view it is that you choose to save. There's many default views. I can't really be bothered going in and changing the cameras, as I don't have any shortcuts set up for that right now. But I will do in time, which will make further future videos much more entertaining and enjoyable with some incredibly beautiful views. But does it get much better than that really in the cruise at 30,000 feet? Over to the right hand side there, looking out over the wing with the pink gorgeousness that's hitting the low-lying cloud right now on the arrival. Back to the visual flight rules map, and you will see we're passing the centre of the middle of the 3 VORs now. It's definitely time to start descending into Dublin. Already see the eastern coast of Ireland there. So straight over to the altitude, let's wind that back to 2,000 feet.
717 Tango, stand opening 350 degrees. Opening 350 degrees, 717 again.
There we go.
122, stand right, heading 135.
And then let's adjust the vertical speed control. This needs to be going from plus to minus, so if it's a plus your aircraft will climb, if it's a minus the aircraft will descend. So we'll take that down to around about 3,000 feet per minute on the descent. Could do with a bit more. I've got a feeling we may overshoot Dublin right now, but there we go. We've got the waypoints, as you can see there on the track. So we'll bring this down gradually, 20 nautical miles inbound to the next VOR. Speed is at 0.78, and we're descending through 28,000 feet. And there's the shimmering of the atmosphere as we look towards the sun in the west.
Shuttle 3 Victor, contact the town 118.5 today.
85, Shuttle 3 Victor, right.
Director, hello, Jersey Airport Director. 38 Delta Echo, hello, range is 27 miles, landing 27 left, speed 180. 180 knots, Jersey 8 Delta Echo. It was 735, sorry, I see you coming back to 180 knots. We are 180 knots, Database 122, reduce speed 180.
Speed 180, Database 122.
0717 Tango, go further descent for intercept. 0717 Tango, descent to altitude 3,000 feet, then further descent for the climb.
Back to the wing view again. That's looking north right now across the Irish Sea.
localizer established 27 left.
14 nautical miles inbound to run to the next VOR as we are descending now gradually, coming through 25,000 feet.
Jet 122 when established on the localizer, descend to 5 knots.
Establishing the localizer, descend the glide path, database 1 quicker.
To the 735, then up to 355. Left, 355.
Awful lot of mist I can see here. This could be quite tricky for the arrival into Dublin. There's a lot of low-lying cloud, but if you just look at the way that the sun is catching the fuselage there, and in the distance we have the low rolling hills of the east coast of Ireland with the mist in between the different mountains and hilltops there. That is absolutely breathtaking. What a view, but sadly the visibility isn't great at all, so this could be rather a challenging arrival into Dublin today. Lots and lots of low-lying cloud. Got about 10 minutes left to run into Dublin now. Just increasing the vertical speed control. Bring us down a bit faster to around about 4,000 feet per minute. Passing 20,000 feet now. And you can see that winding down on the screens in front of us.
Delta Echo, turn right heading 180 degrees.
Simply breathtaking views of the sunset here.
Lever 717 Tango, contact the tower on 8.5. Tower on 8.5.
I'd say that sun's got about 10 minutes left before it dips down there over the western coast of Ireland. Should be very, very pretty indeed on the arrival.
122, contact the tower on 8.5.
17,500 feet on the way down to 2,000. Just passing the VOR with a subtle right-hand turn there, heading due west, actually. Okay, 300 knots right now. I need to be reducing the speed back. Coming through 15,000 feet on the arrival.
I'm looking at 150. 150, 25 miles, heading 27 left. 27 left, 25 miles, 150. Speedbird 735, 160 knots, maintain till 40 and 164, speedbird 735. Jersey 8 Delta Echo, when established, descend with the glide. Once established, descend with the glide, Jersey 8 Delta Echo.
So we'll just check the visual flight rules map once again, and you can see the white aircraft icon there. We've got that set to 20 nautical miles at the minute. We're on the track into Dublin, and we are slightly further ahead than I actually thought now. We're still way too high to come in for that approach, so we'll just fly that track directly over Dublin Airport, and then we'll do kind of a holding pattern and a right hand base turn. So we'll flick it round to the right, do a 180 degree turn and head back out toward the coast just to shave off some of the altitude, and then as we get back to the coast we'll do another 180 degree turn, which will bring us back on track for the final approach into Dublin. So on the map there you'll see now we're just crossing over the top of Dublin Airport at 10,000 feet, reducing the speed now to 250 knots below 10. And a subtle bank to the right hand side as we go back to the wing view now. Simply beautiful, but seriously you really cannot see very much detail on the ground whatsoever, so this could be a very tricky approach with this low-lying mist. If you notice the map on the top right hand side, the white aircraft icon is now heading off to the north.
And the Navy 1507, turn right heading 190 degrees.
And the beautifulness, look at that, what Asobo has achieved in this simulator. The pinkness in those fluffy clouds, absolutely breathtaking. Well, I think it's time for the gear to come down now. at 8,500 feet, slowing to 250. There's the gear, successfully deployed. Next we'll start to bring the flaps down to flaps 30 for the approach. And we'll zoom in for that now just so you can see the actual flaps coming into position. Currently 5 nautical miles away from the airport. It's off to our right hand side now as we head back out towards the coast. So if you look at the flight map, you'll see that we're flying kind of a southeasterly track right now, heading back towards the flight route, the flight plan. We need to be making a subtle bank to the left now, which we're doing ever so slightly, just to bring us out. So we kind of want to be running parallel to the track, heading back out towards the coast. And once we come over the edge of the coastline, we can do a 180 degree turn to the right, which should bring us in nicely for the approach into Dublin this evening. 4 nautical miles away off to the right hand side. And the visibility really isn't great. Beautiful to look at, but even the way that the light captures the cockpit windscreen there, I mean, just the detail that's been put into this simulator, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Very, very, very close to real world. Coming through 6,000 feet now for 2,000.
With our one uniform, hello, 21 miles, landing runway 27 left, turn right heading 225.
That's the runway of Dublin International, just disappears under the right hand wing there. We'll be making our turn back towards the airport very shortly, within the next couple of minutes or so. Some slight adjustments, tilting just to the right slightly. So you'll notice on the VFR map in the top right hand corner the white icon of the aircraft now just going over that little inlet of water coming up to the coastline. So I think it's about time we started to make a very gentle right hand turn, and we'll see that coastline come into play very, very shortly as we bank to the right. Now we're starting the turn now, and just look at that sun reflecting on the wing.
Good 911 uniform, reduce speed 180. Speed 180 on us, remember. Super 59 Golf, contact down 18.5 today.
3,500 feet for 2,000, 1,500 to go. Speed's at 144 knots, which is perfectly acceptable for this stage of the flight. We could do with keeping it around about that speed for the arrival.
With 911 uniform, turn right heading 240 degrees to establish 27 left.
And there in the distance is the sun just going down over the west coast of Ireland.
Correct, turn left heading 290 degrees, descend to altitude 4,000 feet. 290, 4,000 feet.
And it's gone. So we timed that perfectly for the sunset just on the way into Dublin. We've literally got a couple of minutes to run now. 1,900 feet coming down. And we're 3 nautical miles away from Dublin's airport now. Very, very misty on the approach, still can't see much detail on the ground. Landing gear is down, flaps are set for the arrival, speed is looking good. Elevation is fine. .7 nautical miles inbound to Dublin International.
King 1318, turn right heading 185.
If you just look at the track on the VFR flight map top right hand side, you'll see we're a little bit off to the right now. Just making subtle adjustments to bring us back on track. Any second now we should be able to see the threshold lighting for Dublin International. Dolly's Grove off in the distance. And there's the threshold lighting peeping through the mist and the fog now, as we're coming down through 1,000 feet. Okay, just enjoy the arrival. It's time to concentrate.
Contact the tower. In fact, before you go, sir, QNH 1015. QNH 1015, that's 2 to the hour, scan 1.2. 5078 firm 18.5 today.
Quite windy. We've got some gusts happening right now. Just little short manoeuvres to the left and right on arrival. Oh, big gust at the last moment, but there we are, safely down on the ground at Dublin. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Dublin International. The air brakes deployed, slowing down nicely. Don't need reverse thrust right now as the speed doesn't really warrant it. There's plenty of runway here at Dublin. Slowing down 60 knots now. Air brakes, we'll get them off. And welcome to Dublin International on behalf of Jetstream TV. Thank you very much indeed for watching this episode, the inaugural flight and the inaugural show for Jetstream TV, with the beautiful views of Dublin International Airport and the two towers here. A very, very nice evening indeed, showing off the beauty of Asobo's Flight Simulator 2020. Thank you very much indeed, everybody. Have a safe onward journey, and we'll see you on the next one.